Good morning. Enjoying a lovely walk. I think she just fell asleep. Kind of. Was asleep. Ended up taking pretty much all of yesterday off. Went and enjoyed a lovely walk. I got to see my parents. Watched some TV with Dan. Basically just relaxed and didn't do anything in the workshop or on the property at all. It was a little weird. But I'm gonna do some quiet stuff this morning. I've got loud, noisy things to do. We're gonna wait till Dan wakes up. Take her. Oh, hello. Apparently not asleep. Probably doesn't help that I'm talking. Hey? Anyways, but we've got some quiet things to do in the shop first. There's some painting. I want to get that display units. I want to get them all finished up today so I can drop them off tomorrow. I think it's time to take in the last three things from the garden. We've got kale, Brussels sprouts, and some beets still left in there. So pull those all in, and then anything else that's in there is either going to come back up next year or it can just decay and rot in place and feed the soil for next year. Pop out to the workshop for a few minutes. I've got a bunch of paperwork, computer work type stuff to do inside, but we're gonna get a coat of paint on here drying, and then we'll go inside. Also, the workshop is a disaster. Every time I'm rushing to get stuff done outside or like just house general property projects done on top of trying to get stuff done here and things, and the shop turns into a bit of a disaster. But right now it's paint. I paint on this. Just stay focused. I have to figure out what I'm supposed to be painting first. All done. Let those dry. Even got a coat of orange. Yeah! Just have to get through here without touching anything. Alright. Paperwork. Then I think paperwork, and then I think we're going to probably do the beets. Maybe another coat of paint first, actually. Another coat of paint, and then the beets. But first, paperwork. Also, can we just be excited about the fact that we actually managed to get that much of the frame put together. Despite the fact that it feels like everything was working against us to get that done. That's where we'll put our seeds next year. Paperwork done. Dan is now up, so he's taking care of her. So we're gonna come in out here. He cleaned the laser, and apparently he left it running, so I can put some files through, which would be nice. I'm gonna get another, they need one more coat of clear on this stuff, and then they should all be done. I do need to do the little ledges on this one to hold like cards and postcards, prints, chocolates, that kind of thing. I have my buckets. I guess, yeah, whatever, I'll just put here. And my buckets for picking the last of the vegetables. Basically, now that he has her and he's taking care of her, I get to see how fast I can possibly move to get as much done as I possibly can before I give up for the night. Oh, we're having fun. We're having fun. Well, we're getting there. So, the two lower base units, all those toppers, they are all completely done. So the only thing left is put the little ledges on there. I'm going to let these continue to cure. Dan locked the shop. Laser's running. Decided if I back slightly, but that's fine, we fixed it. Okay, so those will cure until tomorrow. I load them into the pickup truck. And yeah, let's go pick things before it gets too dark. So the beets in this bed and in that one are basically just an infill crop. This is normally where I put our lettuces in between. In this one, that one is kale or broccoli and Brussels sprouts. But in between, in order to one, make use of the entire bed, or at least more of it than I normally would. And also to cover up the ground to keep the weeds down, I put a crop of beets in between. And I tend to sow them fairly thick. One, for a number of reasons. One, because I just end up basically, I'll go through, once a number of them get big enough, I'll go through and pull them, which basically makes room for the next round. I only did it once this year, which is why we get funny looking ones. All sorts of sizes. But the other thing is that we use the leaves a lot of time. So a lot of times I will cut the leaves, I'll freeze them, put them in smoothies, cook with them, that kind of thing. Along with a lot of things in the garden, stuff kind of just was allowed to do its own thing this year. One of that was the beets that didn't really get harvested. But I think next year I'm not really going to plant salad greens too much, because we plant so many beets anyways. You might as well just use these because they work just fine as salad greens. So those are the last of the beets. There was some other ones in here, but I can find some. They're pretty tiny. I don't feel like dealing with that, so apparently I should have worn gloves. I'm pretty sure beet juice is a natural fabric dye, so this should be fun. I'm gonna harvest all this kale, put this in the freezer. Normally, as I said, I save the beet leaves, but these are a little more tender than something like kale. There's probably quite a few in there that are reasonably okay, but I just, again, simplicity. There's only so much you can do. So I'm just gonna let them decay down here because they've been hit by frost basically every day for like a week and a half. So they're not necessarily frost hardy, but the beets should be just fine. One, because they can take a bit of a cold. I mean, I'm about to kind of clean them up, put them in the crisper in the fridge, so they'll be fine. Yeah, I completely blanked on what I was gonna say. The beets will be fine, the leaves won't. We'll just go with that. Kale, and then Brussels sprouts. And I'm really happy because this is the first year I've actually managed to grow Brussels sprouts. And I like Brussels sprouts. That's not bad. A bucket full of kale. Some of these are kind of tiny, but some of these actually look not too bad. I'm happy. For the first season I've actually been able to grow Brussels sprouts to the point where they're, actually edible. I'm happy. So all of that is sitting there. It should hopefully decay. And then next year, as you can see, like the dirt level started when we first filled out these beds. It started up here, so we've got quite a bit. So this will decay enough that it'll compact, and then we'll just put the mushroom compost next year on top. So I can pick this up one-handed with it. There's the handle. I cannot pick this up one-handed. Ah, yes I can. Okay. So when we put all these beds together, you can kind of see, it's a little bit hard to see, but they were all filled right up to the top. And part of the reason that they're shrinking is because as the plants use up nutrients, you get a little bit of shrinkage. Not that much though. That is mainly because underneath all of the beds on this side is logs and leaves and branches and everything like that, and then we put the dirt on top of. So you don't actually need that much dirt in order to grow in. The roots don't actually go that deep for most plants. But what we did need was, well, at least what I wanted, was height. I wanted to make sure that they were nice tall beds so that I could use them with like a stool or something like that, without having to get down on my knees and crawl. Yeah. Okay, so those will sit there. I get my hands all cleaned up. I'm gonna leave them out in the screen room here, mainly because I know I'm not gonna get to finishing the next step of processing these tonight. And the cool weather out here will basically be kind of like refrigerator-ish kind of stuff. So, leave them there, wash my hands, back to the shop. So these are the little pieces. This will be the shelf that comes, so the platform be here. Maybe something like that. And it'll be attached. Something like that. So those pieces are milled, painted. I'm gonna probably come out and do another coat of paint. I have a little bit of time tomorrow morning to get this stuff finished before I have to load it in the truck. And this stuff dries pretty quick, so. Got it attached all the way around. Put a picture somewhere around here of the finished piece. I think that's about it. I'll see you guys later. Bye. You got lots to say, little one. Oh, goodness gracious.